We're talking college football. Thank God. It's been long enough. We're here with
Was that
Jessica
a Greg Cody
Smetana.
breath right there?
Greg
Sorry to
Cody.
interrupt you,
Yeah,
Jess. My
right
dad
out the
just
gate.
breathed right into the mic like
Did you?
crazy.
I was doing an intro.
I
I thought I was doing good, too.
You were doing great. I
Nice
didn't
to know
realize
you
I
You
were
were
did that.
crushing it, Lucy.
Great.
Sorry.
Now
Keep
everything's
going.
out of
Very
whack.
well. Doing very
I
well.
was introducing Jess and Spencer
Hi.
Hall from Shutdown
Hello.
Fullcast. Jess, I have an opening question for you.
Ooh, okay, hit me.
When do you get back?
I miss you, Lucy. I'm
I'm
sorry
having a
that you're
hard
there all
time.
alone without me. Is everything okay?
They're
Oh.
talking about a lot of things I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Talking
What
about
are you
a lot
doing
of
to poor
wieners.
Lucy?
We're talking about wieners a lot, and we will get off that subject. I promise. Jess,
We can stay on it.
you're in Ireland. Are you working or you're on vacation?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm actually here with a company called On Location that are showing me the sights of Ireland this week. And the game is on Saturday night, so I'm going to be back in Dublin on Thursday. Right now I'm on the west coast of Ireland. So far, so good, Izzy. It is not 100 degrees here. I know Lucy was just talking about how hot it's been in Miami lately, but I felt a cool breeze on my face for the first time in months, and it was amazing.
You chose Ireland over Israel. I'm not very happy about it, though. Spencer, where are you?
I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia, where it is a balmy 900,000 degrees. I'm loving it. It's great. That's college football weather, baby.
Follow-up question: are you circumcised?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And your life's worse for knowing that, isn't it? Aren't you glad you asked?
Yeah. We're pulling away here.
Yeah, write that down
actually,
there.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, don't do that.
We really pulled away.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Michigan and Jim Harbaugh and all of a sudden self-imposed suspension being 3 games as opposed to the 4 that was originally suggested?
Yeah, what was going on there, Spencer?
What was going on here is this. Don't talk to the NCAA. Don't cooperate. Don't talk. Don't acknowledge them. This is one of the biggest programs in the nation, and it's absolutely humiliating that they even cooperated with this crap because it is about cheeseburgers. That's literally what this is about. You'll see this. You'll know it's about cheeseburgers and about Jim Harbaugh allegedly using a company credit card to purchase said cheeseburgers when they say this is not about the cheeseburgers. Lies. Imagine being an adult. And working for the NCAA, and somebody says, it's extremely important that you got to go find out that Jim Harbaugh used this credit card to go buy some cheeseburgers for a couple of recruits and not dying of shame. That's what this is about. So now they're caught in this back and forth where they have to make the NCAA look like they're legitimate, and they have to own up in order to go ahead and put off any possible sort of punishment that they signed up for by cooperating in the first place. You know who you won't see doing this? You won't see Ohio State doing this. You won't catch USC doing this. You sure as hell won't catch the U doing this, especially because they have problems of their own right now.
Didn't Ohio State do this with tattoos, though?
Foolishly, yes. And they lost a coach because of it. But here's the trick at Ohio State. They don't need it. They don't need a coach to be good. They're going to be 10 wins, 9 wins, no matter who's coaching that thing. That's not the case at Michigan, and we found that out. So in order to placate everybody and keep Harbaugh on board and keep him from interviewing for what NFL jobs are going to be open, just pick one of them. He'll interview for it. It won't go well, and then he will go ahead and come back to Michigan without his tail between his legs because he has no shame about these things.
We should mention Spencer Hall hosts Meadowlark's Shutdown Fullcast, and I think we already mentioned that Jess was in Ireland where Notre Dame kicks off the season against Navy. Jess, what are you most excited about?
Well, to be honest, I usually am very excited for week 0, which is what we call the weekend before all of the college football games start, where there used to be like 1 or 2 teams would play here and there. And now it seems like every year more and more teams are playing in week 0. And that's the weekend that the Aer Lingus Classic is, which is here in Ireland, which is basically like a bowl game that's part of the season where 2 teams come to Ireland and play. It's not even an exhibition. It's an actual season game kind of before the season starts. But then Notre Dame is playing in it this year. And I kind of realized I like week 0, but I don't like when my team plays in week 0. It's kind of like a week 0 for thee, but not for me situation, because I would have loved the extra week of practice for Sam Hartman, who is the transfer from Wake Forest that's starting at Notre Dame this season. And instead, you get a big old road trip across the pond to Ireland. So I am excited for football to start, but I'm also already kind of hitting my nervous energy situation like a little bit earlier than usual right now. So yeah, some of my worst habits are coming back, Izzy.
Because
which
it's not
means
week 0 for
bad
you. It's
things
week
ahead.
1 for you. Everybody who's playing, it's
It
week
is.
1. It's week 0 for everybody else.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and it's
I'm
Navy.
excited for it,
She
but
hates
and
Navy.
I don't like Navy. I do think scheduling wise, playing Navy the first week is always the best situation for any team because you get a whole off season and all of camp to practice defending against the triple option, which is something that Notre Dame has to see every year. And when you see it later in the season, it's a lot more difficult than when you actually get time for it at the beginning of the season, and has probably historically boded better for the Irish. They're 10 of 11 of the last games against Navy they've won. So hopefully, I'm very biased here, but this year will be the same.
I've got a
Yeah,
couple.
hope you pull that one out. Hope you pull it out again.
Yeah, it's. I
Sweating
mean,
out.
look,
You should be nervous.
It was nerve-wracking last year. Notre Dame almost gave up a massive lead to Navy in the second half, but
So-
that's why these games are so stressful for me, Spencer, because it is Notre Dame. Sometimes they let you down spectacularly.
So this is, again, by the way, I want to just be clear. You went overseas
Yes.
to go beat up on overmatched competition with superior firepower on your side. You just took the Navy's job. That's what you did.
Spencer, I have to give you credit because you clearly don't care what your background is when you do these things, and you have
I want you to see
such a mess
that's
back there. Could you help
that's
us figure that
NCAA
out?
right there. That's the video game queued up in the background. I
Okay.
paused it to talk to you guys.
And is that a cat inside of some sort of jar that says ham?
Yeah, that's a cat wrapped inside a gigantic blanket of ham.
Okay, and you
Which
put
is
that there.
that's Ham Cat by
on
local artist
purpose.
Arland.
Okay, and then on the right side of you, just random boxes and shit.
We're moving in. Yeah,
Okay.
this is we've
You
been
moved
moving in
like
for
over a year ago.
that is correct,
As-
over a year ago.
Spencer is my co-host on DNF, so trying to do like little Easter eggs with whatever is in the background of his Zoom is also one of my favorite games.
Is that a
Izzy.
Coca-Cola and a Coke Zero?
No, let's see. We have that is a
50-50
bubble
situation.
water. There's like
Bubble
a
water.
carbonated, a bubbly,
Hmm.
and a Coke Zero, along with a Duke's Mayo Bowl helmet and a Dale Earnhardt cooler. So I have a Dale Earnhardt mini cooler back there as well.
You're just missing the Czech soda there for like Southern bingo.
I think Lucy's going to offer to buy a few of those items from you.
Spencer, it seemed as though a couple of years ago, I know Miami and Florida played for a week 0 matchup that did big time ratings, and it felt like, wow, the NCAA and its big media partners found a new golden goose where they can extract yet more money from. And since then, the matchups have been pretty uninspiring. No offense, Jess, but why isn't there the one big marquee power program against other big marquee power program week 0 thing become a thing?
Probably because coaches, I think, are most concerned, and administrators are most concerned about the existing, workload of games for players. They would rather backload it. They want to go ahead and make sure that if you're in the playoffs, you haven't been playing for, X number of weeks before you go ahead and get into that. Additionally, and this doesn't sound like a lot, but for a coach, it would be a lot if you're trying to plan out the season. That's an additional week that you don't have to prepare. Right. And almost every single team will go ahead and take that. If you see these week 0 games, Notre Dame aside, you're not going to, and USC aside, USC, by the way, is playing in week 0. They're playing San Jose State. That's who they're playing. USC did not schedule a Titan for the week 0 matchup. They don't do that because programs that usually scheduled in week 0, it's an attention grabber, and it's for programs that need the attention, and it's for programs that don't really have some of the logistical challenges that, say, a behemoth like Alabama might. So that's why you haven't seen the week 0 thing. We get very messed up on scheduling and how people schedule things, and we don't really understand the incentives. Remember, Nick Saban hates playing in the playoff because it interferes with recruiting. That's it. So when you see him sitting there holding a trophy, he's just waiting until he can get back on his phone.
Spencer, I love to get angry about lists, and with the preseason poll out, ooh, I'm fuming. I'm ready for it. When you look at the top,
You
10,
sound pissed.
Hey,
I'm
okay,
fuming.
Iowa was ranked, so I'm not that
Calm
angry.
down,
I'm
Lucy.
happy to be at 25. But Spencer, when you look at that list, is there anyone you see in the top 10, top 15 that you're like, yeah, they're unranked by week 5?
No one who I say is unranked. By the way, shouts out to everyone for ranking Iowa, because that's right.
Yes, we
They're gonna
belong
win.
there.
They're gonna win 8 games. You're gonna hate all of them.
Oh,
but
we're
America,
getting to
you're gonna
10
take
this
this
year.
medicine. because Kirk Ferentz is never dying. Never. He's going to live forever. If I look at anyone here who I go, man, they're going to fall out of the top 10. I don't, because everybody looks really solid, like down to like 10. If you had one program in the top 25 who I go, we might be a little speculative there in terms of entertaining them being real good. I never trust North Carolina because North Carolina has no defense whatsoever. And anytime you put Ole Miss in the top 25, I'm going to go ahead and red flag it just because that's Ole Miss. Good things don't happen to them 2 years in a row historically. Like their success chart looks like an EKG. It's just up and down constantly.
Jess, I have a ACC Coastal size hole in my heart. Who replaces the ACC Coastal in just being absolutely bonkers and it gets a special classification of no one actually wants to win this?
Oh, that is such a great question. I mean, honestly, honorary ACC Coastal was the Big Ten West for a while, but now their divisions are also gone. I think that's something to certainly keep an eye on, Mike. I also want to just answer Lucy's question to Spencer in my own shady way, which is not enough people are talking about the fact that Tulane beat USC at the end of the season last year in their bowl game and the Cotton Bowl. And USC retained their defensive coordinator, who did not do a great job last year. So when we're talking about teams with no defense like North Carolina, I think people are really, really high on South Carolina because of Caleb Williams, as they should be. But even Southern Cal, I should say, not South Carolina. Even I know, right? It's funny because I went to two schools that both hate the USC school, so it's very easy to remember that. But even with Caleb Williams last year, they did not win the Pac-12. This is the last year of the Pac-12. We will see who wins it for the final time. But I don't know how I feel about them being in the top 10 because they had some troubles last year.
Jess, 15 seconds. How is McDonald's in Ireland?
They have a curry dipping sauce for the fries and the nuggets, sweet curry. Oh my God. And they have snack wraps. They have snack wraps here. I miss the snack wrap so much. I give it a 10 out of 10. McDonald's, come to Ireland, go to McDonald's.
Curry from Ireland. That's a shocker. Jess, did you know that Greg Cody was also here?
Greg, I miss you.
Hi, Jess. How you doing? I'm looking at the clock as I'm saying.
This is a new and improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Some exciting news for everybody. The Sueys are starting next week. Those are the award shows. We live
Our Oscars.
Yeah, we relive all the great moments of the past year, and we mix them down in montages, make a bunch of categories for them. It's a really fun part, and it always happens right before football season, so stay tuned for that. I want to relive an anniversary that many of you may not be aware of. Today is the anniversary of a special pop culture moment that resonates to this day. It's become a meme. Do you know what I'm talking about, Greg?
I'm Emil Hassan. No, I don't.
3 years ago, Tom Brenneman was forced to make an on-air apology, and Nick Castellanos wasn't having any of it.
Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am and never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
How many years is this anniversary?
3 years.
3 years. Anybody off the top of their head remember exactly what he said, what he was apologizing for?
Homophobia, right? Wasn't it?
This is one of those. So the reason I was asking, because there's times where I start to wonder. It's like, hey, what was that again? And so you just hear the apology. I kind of forget. This one sticks right in there because if you remember, I think they were doing a promo about San Francisco, something happening in San Francisco, and he said can I say it? I don't think I can say it. Should I say it?
I don't.
Don't say it.
Probably,
Please.
The
probably
F
don't say
word
it.
capital of the world, right? Something like that. And it's just like, man, that one was just the tone that he said it was just like
Not his first time.
No, definitely not his first time. And then the fact that the home run happens immediately after he mentions he's a man of faith, as if he prayed for the home run. There it is.
Yeah, he hasn't. Has he gotten another shot? Was that the end? He was a big deal. He was a lead baseball voice on Fox. He was part of their NFL coverage. With Joe Buck departing, he might have been in that mix if this never happened to him.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
Amen.
When you hear the baseball and the crack of the bat, it's just a perfect sound. He since then, it says since leaving the Reds, this is according to his Wikipedia, he has served as a commentator for the Roberto Clemente League and for Chatterbox Sports. So not sure.
It did end his career.
Essentially.
I would have assumed like Live Golf or Big Three, but okay, so he was done. That did him in. And when he said, I'm not sure if I'm going to put on these headsets again, and there was something to that.
Does that make this the most famous home run call ever? Because I was thinking about this the other day, and if the video team has that other home run call, that'd be great.
This is the shot heard around the world.
That, because, I mean, this is a way to tell that baseball is dying. Like, the home run call was kind of like a broadcaster's dream, right? It was a situation that you practice for and stuff. And now, I can't remember a home run call. I can't remember anything that they really say on SportsCenter for home runs, like the guys used to say back in the day, all the meats and cheeses and everything else.
Bartender, Jack.
That's one of the last few that I can remember. And there was this, and this is how I know it was dying, because there was this terrible, terrible home run call from 2019 that if you guys had heard it, it would have been a fixture, I believe, as part of the show if Dan were here. But I don't know if we have that sound. Do we have that sound? We probably don't have that sound.
What sound are we talking about?
It's old.
The St. Louis Cardinals
home
run call?
Cardinals Rockies home run game.
I can get that to you.
A home run call, and it is. If I were to close my eyes and imagine two people graduating from the Stugotz School of Broadcasting and were then going to an audition, let's say, in a minor league game and calling a home run call, this sound that they eventually will play for you, and I'm not doing a good enough job of this, but sounds like two people who failed out of Stugotz.
I just
School of
emailed
Broadcasting.
Chris. I just emailed you the sound. We'll get to that in a minute. Do you think if we had so much going on in our lives at the time that the Brenneman thing happened, that we were not going to make him the topic du jour,
right?
And we were just going to laugh at the funny of it. And there's plenty to actually laugh at, despite the horrid origin of where the apologies stem from. He would become a political weapon today, right?
Absolutely.
He would absolutely, and we're talking about, this was only 3 years ago, but if he got fired for this, he would already get work at another right-wing.
Well, make the argument. Correct. What would it sound like for him? Because obviously we know the argument against him, but what's it sound like for him?
Well, I made a mistake. Well, that's also part of it too. Like he didn't drum it up. Like you've seen all the support that Sage Steele has gotten in this promo tour that she's had since she's left ESPN, and she's finding the allies. Tom Brenneman, I guess to his credit, hasn't tried to play victim here. He's been laying low.
I mean, he did, in the apology, try to get people to vouch for his character, which is the funniest part at the end of like, I think there are people who could speak on my behalf. Please, for the love of God, help me.
Please speak.
Yeah, but I mean,
Defend me.
as far as apologies go, he didn't really make excuses outside of, believe me, that's not in my heart. That's not who I am. And yeah, we can absolutely read into it.
I've never been that guy, other than 10 minutes ago.
I've never been that guy other than sounding like I've been that guy before.
Right.
But he hasn't gone out. I'm not trying to give him any credit. It's just curious. Usually when someone finds themselves in this embroiled canceling controversy, they go on the offensive, and he hasn't done it yet. And when you don't go on the offensive, you basically push away anybody that's willing to make you the face of a cause.
What's the offensive look like there, though? It's like, I apologized, I'm good? Or does he say, no, nobody likes gay people?
Well,
Freedom of speech.
This has actually been, it feels like we're going backwards now with relations and how gays are accepted, right? There's been a real amplified offensive, especially down here in the state of Florida lately, where even 3 years ago, that would be too hot to actually pick up and make a political platform out of. Now he'd find allies because 3 years later, it is essentially part of the identity of a sector of that base.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're going backwards in a lot of ways. I think when you talk about like the pride flags and everything else, and everybody sort of standing up for not wearing them all of a sudden and just having reasons to not do so. I just think, you talk about like the way a lot of these organizations and stuff do things. It's, maybe sometimes they're not brought this patch or whatever, this whole concept until, when it's too close, and they don't really have time to discuss it or to have their feelings discussed. And yes, there are programs and stuff within these organizations and these teams, but how much do we really know these players and these people are really listening or really being affected by it, or if it's just something they have to do just to do and they're going to hold on to their own beliefs? So yeah, we're going backwards in a way. I do think that, the conversation just becomes so convoluted. Something like Brenneman did, I think is pretty clearly something that you don't survive from because it had that twinge of hatred in it. Like, it's just the tone that he said it in. And then to immediately say that's not me is a complete nonsense. Like, you could just say something, hey, I got to work on me, but you can't say that's not me.
But that and the conversation that we're having about whether or not he would get another opportunity now shows just how much we've devolved in the last 3 years since this conversation of, I completely agree with you, Mike. Like, if he had said the exact same thing with that twinge of hate, if anything, that would make it more of a reason for one of these right-wing places that are currently using this otherizing of another community once again because we couldn't get people to grasp onto the otherizing of the previous communities that we've been otherizing for the last decade. Here's another one. Let's throw hate at them. And he would have been a perfect representation of, cool, calm, classy broadcaster who made a mistake.
He would have been a martyr, a victim of cancel culture. 100%. And he probably would have gotten a job somewhere.
It's funny. Like, I just wanted to laugh at the Nick Castellanos thing, and in reliving it 3 years ago, this is just 3 years ago. Instead of being filled with nostalgia, I'm like, wow, the world has really changed in the last 3 years. We live in a post-Ron DeSantis culture war with Disney, and now people are wearing that particular cause on the sleeve in ways that they weren't doing just 3 years ago.
Can we laugh at a terrible home run call from 4 years ago then?
Those balls are a little slick.
Ravello! Knock me down. Hello, goodbye. There you go. Knock me down. There you go. Bye-bye. And then take a trot.
That, my friend, is the way you do it.
Are those the lyrics to a Beatles song?
Nothing about that.
Wait, was
it's
he brushed
a good
back?
home run call.
Was he brushed back?
See, he's getting context here. You can figure it out.
Was he brushed back earlier in the at-bat?
He was brushed back earlier.
All right, that makes sense. That's a good call. That's not a bad call. That's a good call.
Okay, so this clip on its own, by the way, first of all, you start off with balls are really slick.
Yeah,
right?
those balls were slick, yeah.
And then hit me with the home run call again.
Ravello! Knock me down. Hello, goodbye. There you go.
Just stop there. Don't say it again.
No, I like going
Don't
back to
say it again.
Let
and
me
then
say
he
that,
says it again.
Let me say that again. Daryl Morey's a liar.
Knock me down. Hello, goodbye. There you go. Knock me down. There you go. Bye-bye. And then take a trot.
That's a good call. That's not a bad call.
And then his buddy says, that's how it's done.
That, my friend, is the way you do it.
That is not how you do it, sir. That is
he
not
mean the
how
hit
you
or the call?
He means getting the hit after being brushed
He does mean that,
This is
but
a
you're
hometown-
listening to the call.
This is a hometown broadcast. If your
There
guy
you
just
go.
got brushed back,
Please describe the play at all, just a
Please.
little bit.
And
Bye-bye.
Balls
and
are
then,
slick.
Where's the ball?
And then word choice. And then take a trot. And I immediately remembered that I had to go to the restroom.
And then take a trot.
That, my friend, is how you do it.
Hello.
Then take a shot.
I immediately did think of Greg Cody, though. Like, that would absolutely be Greg's home run
That'd be
call.
my hello after every home run. That'd be my guy. This guy's stealing my material.
Yeah, Greg, we did get sidetracked. I saw that you had actually something on the LGBTQ topic.
No, just
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
We are just a couple of days away from getting confirmation after he turns himself in if Donald Trump is indeed the same height and weight as Derrick Henry.
Oh, God, yes. I can't wait for this.
And I'm going to say it's not.
This was something that was claimed?
Yeah, well, yeah, because if you Google what Donald Trump's weight is, I think they graciously give him 243.
Over.
And running backs can be any size.
Yeah, Donald Trump should have decided. Well, he was actually a world-class running back, Chris, and then he decided, I'm just going to become
Google
an
has him at
entrepreneur.
6'3", 243.
Yeah, no way.
Funny.
I mean, who hasn't put on a couple of pounds in the last couple of years? But
so he could have been a running back, but then saw how it was going and decided to be president. So Chris was right.
Yes, Chris was right. But the line is actually, it started at 263, and there is some heavy steam on that. That line ballooned up to 277.
Over.
You're taking the over on 277?
I would. Yeah, I would take the over.
Way over.
It could start with a 3.
277. You think he's 300 pounds?
Could start with a 3.
Is he even 6'3"? Has that been determined?
I do believe the
He's
height.
a big man.
I do believe the height. I think
nothing
we're
in the shoes.
looking at least 20 pounds over the 243.
But is he circumcised?
But that's where we start to...
He's 6'3", but his ass starts at around 5'5".
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they take your height and weight in these situations?
In case you go on the run.
It's called on the lam
Yeah.
in this case, I think.
If you go on the run, then they have an accurate way to describe you.
Just in case they needed to find Donald Trump on the run.
Right, because he's otherwise unidentifiable. Nobody knows what
He is a world-class athlete who could have been a running back, so he might be able to get away.
Yeah, he could juke. Yeah.
I mean, what happens if he's lined up next to Derrick Henry? Then who's who?
That's true.
I mean, if he's spending any time in prison, he probably should bulk up and really look like Derrick Henry.
I gotta tell you, I'm good. I don't need a Donald Trump mugshot. I don't need it. And I know exactly what's going to happen when that mugshot comes out.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reminded of it. I don't want it to be on banners. I don't want it to be on shirts. I'm so good
flags.
with skipping the mugshot portion of this.
How many tattoos?
On Donald Trump?
Tattoos of... Ooh, that's also a good question.
Yeah.
How many tattoos on Donald Trump
Because they take
is a good
inventory of
one.
that, too. Visible
I
markings.
was going to ask just how
Wait,
many
well, you
tattoos
asked the
of his
question.
mugshot.
Chris asked a question. We may find out on Thursday. But I just don't want it. I find the whole thing exhausting. I'm happy that he's not participating in the Republican debates too, because then we just get in an echo chamber and it'd just be the worst parts of us.
But it's not as if this is even happening, because you look at poll numbers and the only person struggling is, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
He's a world-class loser, that Ron DeSantis. I don't know how Donald Trump's
I'm so glad I'm just here to nod along with Mike and not actually say what he's saying.
Donald Trump's lead increases with every indictment. Like, how...
It's amazing.
How bad of a candidate must you be?
There was a CBS poll that came out recently, and I'll have to look for the specific numbers later in the segment, but I believe that those polled who said they are supporting Donald Trump were asked if his quote-unquote legal battles are part of the reason they're supporting him, and 73% of the people said yes.
No,
I'll go back and confirm that.
We're going to double down, triple down. None of this will come back. The only thing that will actually stop him from running is him being in prison, and even then, I'm not so sure.
Did you see? I mean, because this is what makes him so popular. It's like no matter what you throw at him, no matter what he does, he can never look bad. But did you see DeSantis? I was talking about Trump in terms of never looking bad. But did you see DeSantis get asked a question recently about just his numbers or whatever it is? And he goes, "Not here," and immediately went to start to cry like that one meme.
It's weird how shame even sticks to DeSantis, and no one can play the game that Donald Trump plays, in which everything that would be conceivably a disaster for any other candidate is just a win for him. It's the same type of party and base that traffics on freedom, and yet they don't mind if they totally undercut the democratic process. It's a special time in history, and I really do hope someone does something about it, because he's made every indication that he's about to change America and the powers of the presidency if he gets it back to where you're just straight up you're under a fascist, and they may never actually relinquish power.
If I'm Biden, though, I go with the Trump strategy of I'm just not going to talk. 'Cause is Biden going to be helped by doing these debates?
Do you remember how bad those debates
That's
were
what I'm saying.
4
Like,
years
he
ago?
should just stick with the poll. He's polling fine. Just don't speak. Go
No
with
debates.
the Trump method.
I'm with you. No, when Trump becomes a candidate, as it seems like we're headed, and it's them two again, and when we were complaining about how old and embarrassing those debates were 4 years ago, we don't need to see it again. No one's mind has been changed.
In fact,
in the last 4 years, we're just running it back.
It's become so easy to be the candidate against Donald Trump that all Joe has to do is not fall down. Just stand
stay alive.
straight up.
No bike
lean
rides
against something. No bike rides.
No more bike rides. No more bike rides. Stay out of the sun. Hermetically sealed, because he is not Trump, and that's all we need. That's what it boils down to. You can make it you can make the ballot just 2 check marks.
Right.
Our friend
Check
Brad
boxes.
Williams,
Trump,
comedian
not
Brad
Trump.
Williams, did a Biden joke in the Miami Comedy Improv, and man, people were laughing way too aggressively. Even Brad was just like, whoa. I mean, I knew Miami's different, but good Lord.
Yeah.
And it was, a little bit of an uncomfortable moment.
Yeah,
but
Doral
we
is
powered right through.
Doral is even more different.
Mhm.
But I do want to, maybe for you, switch topics.
Or are we going to go to Greg's Nudies Honky Tonk T-shirt? Is that what we're switching topics to?
Well, it has been distracting to me.
Yeah.
I've been looking at it all day, and he does have the word nudie on it. What is this? Is it says it claims to be world famous, so I
Established
imagine
in
this is a very
1947.
real place.
Right. It's a honky tonk now, but it began as
What's a honky tonk? I know, but I don't think Jeremy knows what a honky tonk is.
just like a bar, country bar.
Okay.
Sawdust on the floor and jukebox and all that stuff.
There's no sawdust.
I don't think sawdust is a requirement.
Not
It's a
necessary.
live
It's a
music
bonus.
bar.
Right, exactly. But nudie is the guy who fits and clothes all of the old-time country stars.
Wow, 2 upsets in 1 sentence. Nudie is a guy who clothes people.
Right,
That's
people.
a great name.
Right.
The reason that this shirt is interesting is because if you look, I got this shirt for my dad. I was in Nashville last weekend. He
And
loves a
thank you
black
for that.
shirt.
Thank you.
So I bought it for him. I handed it to him, and he takes a pair of scissors because it was balled up in a little tube-like thing. So he cuts the scissors, and there's also these stickers that are on all these shirts. That's the size.
Yeah,
XL,
XL,
large.
yeah.
How do you usually remove those, Izzy?
The sticker?
Yeah.
With my hands?
Oh, you just rip it off.
I rip it off.
You don't try to cut through the middle of the sticker?
It depends.
It depends on what kind of shirt. Because I've done it where I've ripped the tag off and I've put a hole in the shirt.
It doesn't depend really. Like with that sticker, the size sticker always gets just teared
We're talking sticker,
Oh,
not
the
tag.
sticker, not the tag. Oh, because I tear off all the tags on
Right,
the back
the
of my
tag
shirt.
is like you pull those off. I'm with you on that. But these are just the sticker. That's the size.
You just pull it off.
Nah,
Right,
it depends.
exactly. And my dad decided to take scissors.
Yeah.
To that, and if you look below. The little silver, like at see the end goes around like.
Oh, yeah,
in
there's
big
a hole
loop?
in that thing.
My dad cut a hole in the shirt that I bought him, and I think there's like a black piece of tape over it or
I
something.
was going to say, did he try to like gorilla glue that thing together?
I did.
How do we know that hole wasn't already there?
Because he watched him
I
cut
know.
it.
Because my dad said to
Oh.
me, I just accidentally cut the shirt.
Yeah.
Why
But
wouldn't you pull it?
Electrical tape is magic. I mean, it's the same color as the shirt. It's just
Not
perfect.
really.
Yeah.
But why do you have to be you?
Who else is going to be me?
Exactly right.
Why
Remember
didn't
to
you
take
pull
that
it?
off before you put it in the washer.
For
though.
somebody
Yeah,
who
that's a good point.
Wait,
bleeds so easily and you're playing with scissors for no reason.
Stay with Mike.
Yeah.
Well, he
I
wasn't
I
wearing
Why
the
didn't you
shirt.
pull it?
I
Why
mean,
didn't you pull the
come on.
tag, the sticker
I couldn't
off?
find. It was balled up. I couldn't find the end. I just took what I considered to be a faster.
Couldn't
way
find
to
the
do
end.
it.
You just pull from the middle, bub.
No, it's balled up. You're
No,
not
you
paying
can't do
attention.
that.
They're not, Greg. They don't
But
get
once
that.
you unball, like it was so simple, and my dad knew he was ashamed of it. He saw that he did it and tried to hide it from me. He was just like, "Oh, great shirt, thanks." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wait, did you just? Why are you awkwardly now putting it away?"
I
And
was embarrassed.
And then I fling it open, and you see a big hole in the middle.
Well, who gives someone as a gift a job? Why are you making him do all the work? If it's a gift for him, cut off all the tags, take off all the stickers. His job is to just wear the shirt and enjoy
That's
it.
a
If anything,
very
this
good
is
point.
on you.
Billy is spot on with that analysis.
Well, did you just give it to him in a ball like that with
Yes,
rubber
he
bands
did.
around it?
It was tied up in a little piece of like
No
string.
card.
It was
Not
tied up in
wrapped?
the like scissors were like he needed scissors because there was like it was tied up in a string, but you just cut that string.
So he needed scissors.
He cut it. He cut the string, and then he's like, "Oh, now I'll cut this sticker off."
The scissors were in my hand.
I'm still. How did you present this to him? Did you give it to him like a hot dog wrapped in like
Yeah.
aluminum foil,
Yes, he
just
did.
like
Hey,
that?
brought you
That's
something
poor
from
form.
Nashville. There you go.
I don't like.
I don't think your mom would have be okay with that.
I don't like that your son is using this platform to embarrass you. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't either.
you'd be
I
happy.
didn't tell him to wear the shirt today.
You'd be happy to know something happened before the show today that might be a source of embarrassment for him.
Oh, I would love to know
Yeah,
that.
Billy, do you remember what happened before the show when you guys before the meeting between the Fuentes brothers?
Yeah, so before the show today, we somehow started talking about wrestling and how wrestling, growing up in the 90s was very dangerous for children
Yeah, we
because
all grew up in the
everyone
90s.
everyone growing up
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you know what? Let me try all these wrestling moves," because wrestling really had like a moment in the like late
Right.
1990s, right?
Yep.
So any kid that's, like in the range of 7 to 12 or so, whatever, was
20.
like really into it. Yeah, and they would go and they'd try to do wrestling moves on their friends, their siblings, their, cousins, whatever, right? So we were talking, me and Mike Fuentes, about different things, and I used to do this move, and my cousin would do this move, and we broke this, and we broke that. And he was saying how, what's that, Chris?
This is not that This is
No,
not
no,
a good
no,
payoff.
stop being
This
so.
is-
Stop
Now
being
you're
defensive.
ruining it.
How
So
about
it's on
you?
you.
Know
Let
what?
the man tell a story.
Stop talking while other people are talking. Let's hear the story.
So then, we're talking about different moves, and then Mike Fuentes was saying, like, oh, growing up, me and Gino, it's lucky that we didn't get seriously hurt because we used to do these wrestling moves in the room, and there was just basically carpet on top of concrete. And Chris says, wow, you guys have known each other that long? And Mike Fuentes says, me and Gino are brothers.
I just had a moment. Look, it's early
guys
in the
go that
morning.
far back, huh?
I mean, there's a lot of people here who just go back with each other. Like everybody here has
They're
been
brothers.
friends.
They know
No,
each
They're
other.
brothers.
It's
I
not
would
just
say
that.
all my life.
Lewis and Tony and Kieran, like everyone knows each other
No, you
forever.
didn't know they
around
were
here.
brothers?
But they're brothers.
I
It's
knew
known.
that. Yes, I knew they were
Do you think
brothers.
Gino Fuentes and
They have the
Mike
same last
Fuentes?
name.
If
Yeah.
you want to know what really happened
look
there,
similar,
I had a
too.
They
brief
sound alike
dumb
also.
moment where I just thought for a second that Gino was Danny GQ. I thought he was
No.
GQ for a second, so I'm like, wait, you guys go back to?
no.
Oh, it's Gino. Like
Danny Gino Q.
It was early in the morning.
You
Like,
know
it
how
just-
you can tell the payoff is
It's
worth it?
weird.
It's because of how defensive
You're
Chris
so
Cody is getting.
defensive.
Well,
Laughing stock.
I made a mistake. I made a mistake.
He came in way. Speaking of wrestling,
Roy.
Jesus, off the top rope, loud as a
That was,
mother.
that was a little odd, wasn't it? I meant
Is
to
he
go
trying to
there.
take a
Laughing
nap,
stock.
man?
I know,
Come
seriously.
on. Jeez.
I will eventually be trying to take a nap while we listen to this.
Laughing stock. How's that?
Much better.
It was terrible.
Hello.